UFC represents MMA, and MMA represents brutality and uncertainty. We, fans, are the ones blessed with the ability to see the beauty in it. Every finish, KO, or submission is beautiful to us because we know the sheer amount of effort that takes in executing such a picture-perfect execution, all while everyone's veins are pumping adrenaline instead of blood. The beauty of such finishes only amplifies in magnitude when the executed finish is of a rare breed. And that's why I'm here today, to walk you through the 8 rarest finishes in the 30-year history of the UFC. But before we move any further, I'm gonna have to put a hold on the video for 5 seconds. You know the drill, don't you? After all, every one of you is a loyal and beloved fan of ours. However, to the new guys on the scene, this time is for you guys to smash the like and subscribe buttons. So, if you are done, shall we proceed? Up kick KO finish by Niko Price. Everyone who has seen Niko Price fight will agree that he is one of the most exciting 170-pounders out there. This guy can't have a boring fight. Seems like he's cracked the code to hype the crowd up. And that's what he did when he decided to smoke James Vick off his back. Nobody saw that coming, especially Vick. The bout only lasted a little under 2 minutes, but that was enough to deliver the dynamite fight fans needed. The fight started at a great pace. At one point in the fight, Price attempted to take Vick down, but ended up paying the price by ending up at the bottom. However, that wasn't an issue for the hybrid because what he did next shocked everyone. When James tried to get up to create more space to land strikes on a downed Niko, he took advantage and wasted no time in landing an up kick to his opponent's chin off his back. Suffice to say, the Texecutioner got executed. This KO is so rare that it hasn't been repeated since, and Niko was only the second person to execute it with surgical precision, only after John Fitch back in '06. The pace choke. While most mixed martial artists stick to the traditional ways of fighting, sometimes making adjustments and mixing things up pays big time, and that's what went right for Nick Pace. This choke was so out of pocket that not even the veteran Joe Rogan could understand what happened. The guy he victimized was poor Will Campuzano. Again, this one also came off the victor's back. I will be honest with you, I have watched this clip a million times and I'm not even lying. But even after watching it go down multiple times, I still can't understand what went down. So here's the clip for you guys. If any one of you BJJ fanatics has any idea what happened or how it happened, feel free to share that knowledge. The comment section is all yours. I'll make sure to pin the best explanation in the comments. With this, let's move up to our next finish. Omoplata. Another one of those chokes where I don't know what's happening. This one is even more intricate than the last. This is quite a rare form of submission that is very difficult to execute. As a result, this feat has been accomplished only twice in the UFC, first by Ben Saunders and then by Adam Wieczorek. The second was a bit personal for me since I liked the victim, Arjan Buhler. Since this one is intricate as hell, I won't be explaining this one to you guys either. However, I do recommend watching Gracie's breakdown of Omoplata if you are serious about executing this on your siblings or friends. I will put that link into the description. A fun fact, Omoplata means shoulder blade in Portuguese, and that's what is targeted in Omoplata. Crane kick by Lyoto Machida. Front kicks are always a delight to watch because they are not very common. How can you even forget what Marlon Vera did to Frankie Edgar? He turned a legend into a meme overnight. Even worse was the way Michael Chandler slept with Tony Ferguson. That was painful to even watch. While it hurt to see a legend get finished so brutally, the finish was scintillating. After all, the GOAT, Anderson Silva, put it on the map. But I'm not here to talk about the front kick. Although rare, it has been attempted several times. I'm talking about a kick that came straight out of the classic movie The Karate Kid. The one that forced Randy Couture to go crashing down to the canvas. Yes, it is none other than the legendary crane kick. A subtle difference between the front kick and the crane kick delivered by Machida was the fact that he feinted a flying knee before landing the kick. Despite this subtle difference, the crane kick officially falls under the umbrella of the front kick. Frank Moore's inside shoulder lock against Pete Williams. Frank Moore in his prime was no joke, and the finish he secured over Pete Williams was so out of the book that there isn't even an official name for it. Everybody just calls it an inside shoulder lock. Some people call it the Moore shoulder lock as a sign of respect to its inventor, but ask those who have watched it, it is way more than that. You could see the agony on Pete's face while Moore was ruthlessly executing his plan off his back. Williams had one of those rare expressions plastered across his face that tend to be extremely contagious. You could feel that man's pain physically in your shoulder. That's how insane that whatever its name is, submission was. The Korean Zombie's Twister. Who said submissions could be less damaging? If perfectly executed, they can easily be more lethal and debilitating than a brutal KO. A brutal KO shuts your lights off, and a brutal submission tortures you slowly and painfully until you tap. The perfect embodiment of this description is the Twister. Chan Sung Jung was the first one to successfully execute this nasty submission in the UFC. What makes it even better is the fact that he did this in his UFC debut. It's safe to say that he came in with a bang. With just 20 seconds left on the clock, he had started to set it up. And with a second left in the second round, he forced his nemesis to tap in excruciating pain. A submission so rare it took nearly 8 years to get replicated. Finally, in 2019, we see Bryce Mitchell replicating the same Twister submission. Seems like featherweights own this submission. Somewhere, Eddie Bravo be proud. Liver up kick by Irene Aldana. I know what's going on in your mind, and I agree with you. It does sound like a hybrid. Well, that's because it is a hybrid. While liver kicks are painful in themselves, how about an up kick that delivers all the impact to the opponent's liver? Enough to shut their body off, isn't it? So unusual that it has only been done once in the UFC, and even quite recently. If my research serves me right, there's been only one instance throughout the MMA world where a fight ended with a liver up kick. Just last year, we saw a new way that fighters can master to seal the deal in a scintillating fashion. And we have to thank Irene Aldana for this. In her bout against Macy Chiasson during the third round, when Macy tried to steer clear of a grounded Aldana, the Mexicana delivered a devastating up kick that dug into Chiasson's liver. It was so clean that Macy's body had no choice but to shut down. To make matters even worse, it was the heel that made the contact. Painful, isn't it? The suplex armbar combo by the GOAT, Mighty Mouse. Call me biased, I don't care. Demetrius Johnson is the GOAT of MMA, and this finish by him is the GOAT of MMA finishes. How can a person be so fluid, so smooth, and so dynamic to pull this off? People who say perfection doesn't exist should see this. This suplex armbar finish by the mighty Demetrius Johnson is the literal definition of perfection. Mortal words can't express how beautiful this submission is. You got Mighty Mouse grabbing Ray Borg from behind. A moment later, you see him deliver a suplex. While Borg is in midair waiting to crash land onto the canvas, Johnson jumps and wraps himself around his opponent's arm in an armbar. By the time both men land, it becomes evident that the only way Ray is getting out of this is by tapping. And that's why this is the GOAT of finishes. So which one is your favorite finish? Mine is the one by DJ. Do you think some other finish should also be there in this list? Let us know in the comments. And as always, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to keep the good times rolling. See you all in the next one.